Welcome to your Circuit and Tabata class. This is the express version of Circuit and Tabata, so we'll just do one circuit, one Tabata. For equipment, we are going to use a set of medium weights. I would maybe go on the lighter side of your medium range. I'm going to use a set of 8-pound weights. If you're new to this format for the circuit, I'm going to give you 5 exercises. You do them each for 45 seconds with 10 seconds of transition time in between them. You then rest for 30 seconds before repeating. In total, we're going to complete 4 sets of the circuit because we have some unilateral exercises mixed in there. For the Tabata, I give you 2 exercises and you alternate between them using an interval structure of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest for 8 sets. In between those 2 chunks of class, I'll give you a full minute to recover, and during that time, I'll give you a preview of the upcoming exercise. So the Tabata is more our cardio fast-paced section. So for that one, there will be some jumping around. I will have low impact modifications playing on the screen though if you do want to keep the whole class low impact. For the circuit, a great way to modify, just go lighter with your weights. All right, we're going to start with a warm-up focused on mobility and some light cardio to gradually bring the heart rate up. We'll finish up with a guided cool down. Let's get right into it. Sorry, Squeaky. Let's start standing with a side bend. So you take your right arm up. We're going to side bend over to the left. And then staying within the side bend, we're going to rotate. But before we do, I want you to notice when you did a side bend, did you move your rib cage over to the right? I want you to think of kind of bringing your rib cage with you. So you're kind of going up and over something. Once you find that side bend, then let's rotate. Exhale down and inhale it up. One more time. Come through your side bend, bring it up tall. Now your left arm is going to reach up and we're going to side bend over to the right. Remember, don't shift over to the left. Think about going up and over. And then within that side bend, let's rotate. Exhale, rotate down. Inhale, rotate up. One more. Come upright, reach your arms out to the side. And we're going to start with some little arm circles and just gradually make them bigger and bigger. As you make those arm circles bigger, your arms start to come in front of your body, up, out, and around, but without flaring open through the front of your rib cage. So we keep that gentle engagement through our abdominal wall. You should be at your biggest circle now. 3, 2, 1. Let's reverse direction of the circles. Start small and then gradually make them bigger and bigger. I feel like I didn't reverse direction. Oh well, whatever. Hopefully you did. Making your way to your biggest circle for 3, for 2, and 1. Arms up, palms face forward, hip hinge with an arm sweep as the hips slide back. Arm sweep back, hips come forward, arm sweep overhead. We're going to hold the hip hinge. Instead of an arm sweep, we're going to do a reverse fly in 3, 2, 1. Hold that hip hinge, palms facing towards each other. And now we're flying wide and back in, retracting through the shoulder blades as those arms slide out or fly out. Hands can come to heart center. We bend and stretch the knees in 3, 2, and 1. Staying within this hinge, I just want you to bend and then press through the legs, opening up through the back side of the pelvis and the legs. We're going to do a squat to a hip circle, so you'll probably want to widen your stance a little bit. I'll turn to face you in 3, 2, 1. So you can come to a wide squat position, you come down, and then one knee is going to circle across and out wide. Take it to the other side. So kind of like you're stepping up and over something. We're going to come into some light cardio up next. 3 moves. We go through them twice. We're going to keep it pretty straightforward. Going to be jumping jacks, butt kickers, skater in 3, 2, last hip circle, 1, jumping jacks. If you want to keep these low impact, you can do a step jack instead, going side to side. We take it to butt kickers in 4, 3, 2, 1. Run it out. So we pump the arms kind of like we're running in place, and then one heel kicks in towards the butt at a time. You can always march instead if you want to keep it low impact. Maybe you have downstairs neighbors, you gotta be quiet. That is one nice thing about filming workouts here at my parents' house. No downstairs neighbors, so I can jump around as much as I want. Skater, so we're gonna go side to side in 3, 2, 1. So find a semi-squat position, hinging forward, and then we're gonna just get a little lateral movement in here, leaping side to side. If the balance isn't there, then just bring the ball of the foot down to tap the floor instead of balancing on that single leg. We'll start at the top with jumping jacks, going through these 3 moves one more time, finish with world's greatest stretch, and then we're into our circuit work. 3 jumping jacks in 2 and 1. Let's go. Butt kickers in 4, 3, 2, 1. Run it out. Skater in 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So we want to get lateral movement in this warm-up, but also just a little bit of balance and stability, kind of see where you're at. You can always tap the foot down. We're going to walk out into a plank position in 3, 2, 1. Hands to the mat. Inchworm yourself out into a plank position. World's greatest stretch, alternating side to side. Left foot steps outside left hand, left arm up to the ceiling. Reverse it back to your plank and take it over to the right. Keep alternating. One more time each side. From your plank position, hips pike up, inchworm your hands in towards your feet, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll it up to stand. I'm going to show you our circuit. First up, you're going to be down on the mat, knees at tabletop. It's going to be an overhead pull, so you reach those weights overhead, draw them back over your chest, and then the legs are going to extend out to a hover, and they're going to crunch back in, just alternating arms and then legs. If you're advanced, you can try both at the same time. Second exercise, we move into some single-sided work. So you're going to be in a single leg hip bridge. You're going to have the weight in one arm. It's going to be a single arm tricep extension overhead. And as you do that, the hovering leg is going to extend out and then crunch back in, holding those hips lifted. From there, we come up to stand. It's going to be a back lunge with a lateral raise. Holding low in the lunge, you're going to slide the arms in front, and then you lower them as they stand. Lateral raise into your lunge, hold low as you slide them into center, lower as you stand up. We then hold in that low lunge position, and it's going to be a bent raise, and then a knee drive in and out with that back knee staying low. One bent raise, knee drive in and out. Final exercise is kind of like a med ball slam, but using one of the weights. It's going to be a calf raise at the top when the weight is overhead, and then as you drop into your squat, you are lowering the weight. You're not going to slam it with as much force as you would if this was a med ball though, because we're not bringing it down to the floor. So think more like a wood chopper or a sweep and not so much a slam, but you do what you're going to catch it at the bottom, stopping that momentum, and then come back up, adding in that little calf raise. All right, 4 times through, 45 seconds in exercise. Let's do it. So we're going to start down on the mat, grab both weights, and you can kind of press them together. Now we're neutral through the spine, and we're going to bring the knees up into a tabletop position. It's going to be an overhead tricep pull, and then it's going to be an extension of the legs out to a hover and back in. Start alternating, and then if you feel comfortable doing that, then you can do both together. Knees over hips, maintain neutral. Let's go. So arms extend overhead, and then you exhale, pull them back and over your chest. Legs extend out to a hover, and you draw them back in. Arms overhead, draw them back, legs press out and in. If you're feeling comfortable there, legs go out as the arms go overhead, and you pull everything back into start. Use your breath on this one. Now, if you're unable to maintain a neutral lower back, then I want you to alternate. We're going to keep the weight in our right hand up next. Right foot is going to be on the mat. Okay, So down to one weight. We're going to come into our bridge position, weight in your right arm, left arm down by your side, and then I want you to take that left foot off of the mat. Now, as the left leg extends out, you're going to bend into that right elbow. Give me that little tricep extension. Keep pressing the hips up. Now, if it is too confusing doing the arm and leg moving together, then I want you to just hold that left leg at a hover and just focus on the bend through that right elbow. Also, if you need some stability, you can bring your left hand to the back of the elbow. Don't let those hips drop down. So our right leg is the focus for this one and the next two exercises. All right, let's come up to stand, grab both weights. Right foot is going to stay planted. Left foot is going to step into a lunge as you do a lateral raise. Hold at the bottom, slide the weights in front of you. Lower the weights as you stand up. Back lunge, lateral raise. Slide forward and lower as you stand. You'll notice I'm just bringing my left foot to tap the floor as I stand. I'm really keeping all my weight in that right side. We'll hold low in the lunge up next. All right, hold low in the lunge, palms facing towards each other, 90-degree angles with the elbows. It's a bent raise, and you're gonna drive that back knee in and back. Bent raise, knee drive, staying low on that right side. If the knee drive isn't working for you, give me a pulse instead. Or just eliminate that and just hold your lunge position. Now your hips are level as you do this. So notice if you're wanting to dump your hips down to the left, you might need to actually pick that left hip up a smidge so that it's level with your right. We drop down to one weight for the final one. All right, drop down to one weight. It's gonna be that squat, that kind of med ball slam. So with the weight overhead, you do a calf raise. Heels come down as you sink into your squat and you lower that weight, catching it. Bring it back up, calf raise, lower. You're staying open through the chest. I don't really wanna use the word slam because it's not like a med ball slam where you're really bouncing the ball off of the floor. We are softening that momentum, stopping the weight before it hits the floor. So don't slam the weight down. It's more like a sweep. As you come to the top, you're engaged through your abdominals. You're squeezing the glutes. And we do that calf raise. Make sure your big toe is staying down on the ground, bearing your weight. You don't want to roll to the outer edge of the foot. And rest. Okay, 30 seconds. So we're gonna do same thing, but when we get to those middle three unilateral exercises, we'll just take those over to the left side instead. But to start, we'll have both weights, and we will do that overhead pull with the leg extension. So let's lay down on our back, knees at tabletop, neutral through the spine. You can press those weights together, or you can always drop down to just one weight. Again, you might want to start alternating so the arms would extend overhead, but don't lock out the elbows. You pull the weights overhead, and you press those legs out to a hover, and you bend them back in. If you're comfortable with that, then you can do both together. Legs go out, weights go out. Exhale, bring them back in. I don't care how low your legs are in the hover. They're only as low as you can, maintaining a connection to your core and that neutral lower back. And a neutral lower back does have a little curve to it. It's not that I want you cementing your low back to the floor. I just don't want it peeling up and your pelvis to rock forward. So when we get to the next one, weight in your left hand, left foot on the mat for that single leg bridge. Okay, so weight stays in your left hand. We're going to come up into our hip bridge position, and then you're going to lift that right knee to a hover. So now you're bend at the elbow for that tricep extension as you press the right leg straight, straighten through the arm as the knee bends in. So a little bit of coordination involved in this one. And coordination is not really a word you think of too much in workouts unless you're like an athlete and you're training like hand-eye coordination or whatnot. But I think it's something we should think about. It adds an element to our overall body's function. Keep pressing those hips up and try to keep them equidistant from the ceiling. Whew, come up to stand. You need both weights. Left foot is going to stay planted. Right leg will step back into that back lunge. We do a lateral raise. So arms out wide, palms face the floor. Pause at the bottom. Sweep the weights in front of you and then lower as you stand. Lateral raise. Pause as you slide them forward. Lower as you stand. If the slide is too much, you can just do a lateral raise and then lower and lift up and eliminate that pause at the bottom. We'll hold low in the lunge up next. We'll do that bent raise with that knee drive. All right, meet me in your split lunge position, palms face in, elbows bent at 90. Bent raise, and then right knee drives in and out. Staying low on your left side. So the 10 seconds of transition time, it's not, don't think of it as rest, just think of it as transition time. So if you don't need all 10 seconds, don't take all 10 seconds, get right into the next exercise. It's really for when we move from being down on the mat up to standing, that's when you do need that 10 seconds. Stay low. We dropped one weight up next. Drop down to one weight. We have that squat slam. Lower the weight with control. Up, give me a little calf raise. It's a controllable swing of the weight. Chop it down, bring it up. We're not flaring open through the rib cage and arching into our lower back at the top. So be mindful of that. I also don't want this to be a swing, okay? So you're stopping it at the bottom, kill the momentum, then lift. So your arms are working. And rest, okay? 30 seconds, we are halfway there. If you need longer to recover, now would be a good time to pause the video. Maybe take 60, 90 seconds. And we make our way down to the mat. Grab those weights, overhead pull, leg extension, or maybe both at the same time. Knees to tabletop, neutral through the spine. Press those weights together. Let's go. Arms go overhead, legs extend out. Exhale, bring it back in. Use that exhale to connect to your abdominal wall. By the way, I was playing outside with my dogs in the backyard barefoot before I shot this, so if the bottoms of my feet are filthy, I'm sorry, that's why. I swear I take showers. Weight will be in your right hand up next. Right foot will stay on the floor. Okay, right hand keeps the weight. Palm faces in, come up to your hip bridge position, and then take that left foot off of the floor. As you do that tricep extension, bending, and then extending it straight back up, you're going to kick the leg straight to a hover and bend it in. And again, if it's overcomplicating things, to add in the bend and stretch of the leg, just hold it at a hover. Now let's make sure we're not flaring open through our rib cage. There's a lot going on in this one, a lot to think about, I know. If it's overcomplicated, you just simplify it. Keep pressing those hips up. Whew. Come up to stand, both weights. Right foot stays planted, left foot steps back. Back lunge with that lateral raise. Hold the arms lifted at the bottom as you slide them in front, and then come to stand. Wide V shape, slide in front, lower. Woo, that slide is tough. All right, hold low in your lunge, palms face in, elbows at 90 degrees. Bent raise, knee drive on that left side. Staying low on the right. Level off through those hips. So again, you might need to pick your left hip up a smidge. Whew. Drop down to one weight. Squat with a calf raise. Weight overhead at the top. Lower it down with control. It's not a swing, okay? You build momentum, then stop it. You're open through the chest. So when the weight lowers, you're not rounding your shoulders forward, rest. So at the bottom, I don't want you in a hunched forward position. Okay, one more time through our circuit. Those middle exercises will be on the left. So we grab those weights. We'll find our tabletop position on our back, neutral through the spine. We have that overhead pull with the leg extension. Option to alternate, also option to drop down to just one weight. So let's challenge ourselves. When we pull our knees in, only pull them in over your hips. Don't crunch them all the way in over your chest, okay? That's a challenge for myself just as much as it is for you, because I always have the tendency to pull my knees in all the way. It just forces your abdominals to remain in a more active position throughout the entire range of motion. When we come into our unilateral work, weight will be in your left hand. Left foot will stay on the floor. Whew. All right, weight in your left hand, right arm down by your side for support, press it into the floor. Lift those hips up, right leg at a hover. Bend at the elbow, weight dips back, press it up towards the ceiling. You're keeping equal length through both sides of the waist, and you're pressing up by really squeezing into the glutes. So I want you to push your left foot into the floor, make a fist with that left butt cheek. Think of reaching your tailbone towards your knee so that you don't end up just clenching into your lower back. And again, if you need some guidance with this single arm exercise, bring your other hand to the back of the elbow to steady it. We come up to standing. Up next. And come up to stand, grab both weights, left foot stays planted, right foot steps back, back lunge with that lateral raise. Hold at the bottom, slide the weights in front, lower as you stand. You got it. 3 work intervals, and then you are done with your circuit. Check in. If you are not able to maintain proper form, I want you to drop down in weights. Better to go lighter and do it correctly. It's going to be more effective that way. Whew. All right, hold low in that lunge. Elbows bent at 90, palms face in at the bottom, and then lift, palms face the floor. Knee drive. Bent raise. Knee drive. Woo, drop down to one weight. Final exercise, let's do it, okay? In 45 seconds, you are done with your circuit work. Calf raise at the top, drop to your squat, but notice my chest is lifted, my spine is long. Stop the swing at the bottom. Stop it. So I want you to pause for a second at the bottom of each squat. Knees are tracking in line with your middle to outer toes. But we're not rolling to the outside of that ankle when we do the calf raise. Right to the end, you're so close. Whew, and done. Okay, you have a minute to recover. We do not need our weights for our Tabata. I'm going to show you those exercises. Okay, so this is our HIIT section, our Tabata. You can kind of think of it as a little cardio finisher. First exercise, it's like a jumping jack with a knee drive, okay? Out, in, drive your knee up and towards your hands, little hops. So sort of like a jumping jack variation. To modify that one to keep it low impact, you're just going to give me a march, march. One knee, then the next, bringing it up into your hands. Second exercise is going to be a squat drop with a hip twist at the top. So you drop into a squat and then just the lower body twists, light on the balls of your feet, drop down, twist the other direction. To modify that one, I want you to do a squat with a torso twist at the top. So it would be down, torso twist, down, torso twist. So we still get that twisting action, but we keep it low impact. All right, 20 on, 10 off. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. We start with that little jumping jack variation. Jumping jack, knee drive. So open through the chest, palms face down, they can kind of stay here. We're gonna be hopping on the balls of our feet. Let's go. Out, in, alternating that knee drive. Drawing that knee up, you're engaging the core, not just pulling through those hip flexors, although they're dominant for sure. Rest. All right, squat drop, hip twist. Drop to a squat, light on your feet. Rest. Jack knee drive. Out, in, up. Out, in, up. If you want to do regular jumping jacks instead, go for it. Rest. Squat drop, hip twist. Let's go. Now, just because the squat variation is quicker, more dynamic, doesn't mean you can get sloppy with form. So when you go down, knees tracking in line with middle toes or outer toes, rest halfway there, not letting them buckle in. So we're active through the glutes to help keep our legs in alignment. Let's go. Doing a lot of stuff on the balls of our feet here, challenging the lower leg as well, and the foot. Rest. Squat drop, hip twist. Just 3 work intervals to go. Goal is to elevate the heart rate and go. A little sweaty and out of breath. Torso stays pointing forward, or chest I should say. Rest. It's hips and lower half. Think belly button down, that's twisting. Final set. Go. Rest. Final 20-second push, and then we're done. Go. Squat drop. Hip twist. The lights on the balls of your feet. And done. Woo. Awesome job. Take a second to catch your breath. I'll bring you through a quick cool down. Whew. All right, let's start standing. We can take a quad stretch. Grab a foot in your hand, pull the heel into your seat, and then drop the tailbone down so your pelvis is neutral. Take it over to the other side. Release the foot. I want you to vertebrae by vertebrae fold forward. I want you to inchworm yourself out into a plank position. And then right from here, I want you to lift those hips up, coming into downward facing dog. Might feel good to pedal out the heels, but eventually I want you to just settle into it. We're going to come into a half pigeon stretch. If you know it's a little too intense for you, you could do a figure 4 stretch, laying on your back instead. But if you're down for a little half pigeon, let's start to shift forward. Bring that right knee behind the right wrist, kick the shin across, scoot your left leg back, and you can come down forehead on those forearms. With every exhale, I want you to think of relaxing, sort of melting into the shape. Now I'm just bringing you through a quick cool down, but I know it can feel really nice to stay in this position for a prolonged period of time, so by all means stay here if you'd like to. Otherwise though, we're going to press back up through down dog, and then just take it over to the left. Left knee behind left wrist, kick the shin across, scoot your right leg back, half pigeon other side. And notice where you're holding on to tension. You know, you should feel your outer hip, of course, but notice if there are other places that feel grippy. I know in this position, I hold a lot of tension in my belly. It's very hard for me to relax there. Other people, I'll notice, hold a lot of tension in their shoulders in this one, so maybe you just try relaxing your shoulders away from your ears with every exhale. Again, stay here as long as you'd like, but otherwise, we're going to press back up to down dog one last time. Then we're going to drop our knees down, coming into a tabletop position. We're going to take my favorite shoulder stretch, thread the needle, left weaves under right, walk your right arm forward, breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. When you're ready, we walk that hand in, take it over to the other side. Right weaves under left, left walks forward, cheek to the mat. Walk your left hand in, come through tabletop, and then let's finish class today in a child's pose. So knees can be wide, but back to your heels, flip the palms up to the ceiling, and let's just take 3 deep breaths here, inhaling through the nose, out through the mouth. And slowly coming up to a kneeling position. That is your workout. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.